Hi guys, so I am back today with a first impressions review video. It's not often that I do a first impression video, but I really wanted to do that today because I went to the drugstore and picked up the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour wear foundation. I wasn't planning on buying any makeup at the drugstore, but I went to the drugstore on my break at work, saw this and saw that L'Oreal had 25% off their face products at Shoppers Drug Mart ending that day. So I was like, I have to pick it up and try it out. So that's what I did. It claims to be 24-hour wear. I will not be wearing it for 24 hours because that is just way too long for me to have something on my face. But I'm sure some people will probably try to wear it for 24 hours, but that is just not me. So if you want to see my first impression on this product, then just keep on watching. So first off, I got this foundation at Shoppers Drug Mart. I do live in Canada for those of you who are new to my channel or do not know that. And at the time, L'Oreal had 25% off their face products. So I did get 25% off of this bad boy. And with the 25% off, I ended up spending $16.39 on it. So right there just shows you that this isn't really a cheap foundation to the drugstore. It's a little bit more expensive. So right off the bat, the packaging is super, super cute. It is just a black, sleek, matte packaging, and it just says the Infallible Pro Matte on it. And then it's got some writing down there telling you what it claims to do. So on the back of these products, it tells you what it claims to do, like what the finish is, how long it's supposed to last, and all of that. So this finish is a demi-matte finish, which means it's not going to be completely matte, but it's not a lumi finish. So when it sets, it's supposed to be matte with a bit of like a shine. It's supposed to wear up to 24 hours. Apparently this line has a 12-hour, 16-hour, and 24-hour wear, and this one claims to be the 24-hour wear. Coverage is supposed to be medium and the texture is air light, and then underneath it, it says that it has oil control. When I try this out today, I am going to test it with a sponge, the damp Quo blender sponge, and I'm also going to try it with my Sigma flat top kabuki brush. One side of my face I will prime with the Maybelline Baby Skin, and one side of my face is just going to be left blank. I do have moisturizer already on my face, and it has been set now for about a half an hour. So take that into consideration that there is already a moisturizer on my face, but I'm still going to prime one half of my face and leave one half of my face just with the moisturizer. I got 101 Classic Ivory. There's about, I think, 4 or 5 shades. The selection was kind of picked over when I went there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and prime, and I think I'm just gonna prime this side of my face. As you guys can see, this side of my face has quite a bit of acne scarring. I have redness to begin with, but I have a lot of acne scars. I do have some active acne on my face, but I have scarring all over the place and just redness. Like my skin is just a hot mess without some sort of foundation on it, which is why like I don't go bare skin too often just because I'm not comfortable with the redness and scarring. But I mean, it is what it is, right? So I'm just gonna squeeze some of this baby skin onto the back of my hand. Just got some of it on my hand there, as you guys can see, and I'm just gonna dab into it. I'm just kind of press it into the skin because it is like supposed to be a smoother and pore minimizer. I'm just gonna rub it around, just get it on there, and we'll actually just go right down the halfway point. So this side has the primer and this side just has the moisturizer. So I'm gonna let the primer set, and I'm going to start to apply it to the side that doesn't have primer. So the side that doesn't have primer, I'm going to use the sponge, and the side that has primer, I'm going to use the brush. Before I even start, I think I'm going to like the sponge better than the brush because that's usually how it goes with my makeup application. I prefer a sponge over a brush. Not for all of them, but for most of them. Sometimes I find my brush just, it gets really streaky, so we'll see. So it's a little bit thicker, which is kind of what I was anticipating because I don't know, any foundation that I get that's in a squeezy tube bottle like this always tends to be thicker. I'm just literally dabbing some of it into the sponge, and then It's applying really nicely, like it's pretty even. I'm going to agree with the texture being air light. It does feel really, really light on the skin. Let's see how it covers up over those. Yeah, it does cover up nicely. I mean, it still shows through, but it's only supposed to be a medium coverage, so it's not going to be full. So like, I'm not expecting it to do too much. Already right away, you guys could see how much I put onto my hand. It's already kind of gone away with the sponge. So I am going to go ahead and say that the sponge kind of does absorb a lot of this product. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit more onto the back of my hand. And just dip into that and start with my forehead. I think the color is good, but I'm really pale, so I can't really wear something too dark or it's going to be obvious. So that is just with one layer of it. I'm sure you guys can see. I'll bring you in a little bit closer. That is just with one layer with a sponge. It has concealed and covered quite a bit. The finish is nice. It's not too flat so far. I mean, I'll see how it is once it sets, but it's not too flat, and it is covering up like the redness on my face and some of my scars, but it looks pretty natural right now. So what I want to do is go ahead and try to add a second coat over it and see how that works. Okay, so that's with a second coat with the sponge. You can build it up and it doesn't really look cakey or anything. Keep in mind that this is the side without the primer and it's working pretty well. So I do like it with a sponge, but the only thing that I already am like about is the fact that it just soaks up a lot of the product, so you're not getting like a whole bunch of transfer onto your face. I don't know, maybe it would work a little bit better if you like swiped the product onto your face first. So now that this primer has had some time to set, we'll try it with the brush. I squeezed a little too much, but what can you do? And so I'm just gonna take my flat top kabuki and dip it into the product. Okay, so already off the bat, you get a much, much fuller coverage from the start with a brush. Let's see how it covers that. Yeah, like you already get such a fuller coverage with the brush with this than the sponge. There are some brush strokes, which is to be expected, but once I put a powder over my face, which is what I'm going to do, I'm still going to set this with a powder and everything. I'm just going to treat it like I would any other foundation. The streakiness should go away because it's usually what happens. There's still a little bit of product left on my hand, and you guys saw how much I accidentally squeezed out with the brush. So the brush definitely does not soak up the product as badly as the sponge does. I'm just going to add a little bit more product to my hand to kind of get my forehead and my nose. So there are some spots where it's clinging to a little bit and it looks a little bit cakey, but overall it's pretty smooth. Like once you have it all on, 2 coats with the blender sponge and 1 coat with the brush looks pretty similar. This side has the primer, and I'm not noticing that the primer really does anything more spectacular than without the primer. Either way, it still looks pretty even. You can see my scars coming through on this side, but that was to be expected because the scars are really, really bad over there. And then this side was the side with the sponge, and it covered pretty well. All right, so I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup and then I will be right back. All right, so I just finished up doing the rest of my makeup and it is currently 1:34 in the afternoon. So far, I must say that I am impressed with the foundation and I do really like it. It is very lightweight on the skin, like it claimed to be, and it is set now and it's not tacky. That's the biggest pet peeve I have with some of my foundations, especially thicker ones, is that they take forever to set and they feel tacky for like ever. But this one has set pretty quickly and it doesn't feel tacky at all. It feels really nice on the skin, and my blush and bronzer went on pretty well. So far, giving this foundation 2 thumbs up. I'm excited to see how it holds up throughout the day, especially with my oily skin. I get oily no matter what. It really sucks, and I normally have to touch up a couple times throughout the day, but this claims to be oil controlling, so I'm excited to see how it holds up. So I have some things that I have to do, and yeah, I will check back with you guys in a few hours. Guys, so I'm doing a quick check-in. I'm using my iPhone camera right now to do this because I was too lazy to go and bust out my big camera. It's been about 2.5 hours of wearing this foundation, and so far it is still holding up pretty nicely. It hasn't started to separate around my nose or anything, and this is what it looks like in daylight. My blush and bronzer is still intact. You can still see my highlighter, and it really hasn't started to separate yet. And I am not oily yet. I really haven't done too much. I'm going out soon, so that will be the test, but I'm not oily, which is a plus right now. So I will check back in a couple more hours. Hey guys, so I just wanted to check in with you really quick. I'm just out in the car actually waiting for my mom to get off work, and this foundation looks really good outside. Like, it doesn't look cakey or anything. The coverage is nice. It's not super flat either, so I would definitely say it's a demi matte. It's not super luminous or anything. Big thumbs up. I am very impressed so far, especially being outside, and the color is nice. So I will check back in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, so it is the end of the night now. Well, it's about 8:51 at night, so I'm gonna call it the end of the night for me because I just want to unwind, get in my pajamas, and take my makeup off and stuff soon. So I've had this on for about 7.5, almost 8 hours now. And I'm really impressed with the foundation. My skin looked really nice all day long. I do apologize for the lighting right now. It is dark outside and my light was making it way too like washed out, so I threw the other light on. But yeah, I am very impressed with this foundation. It looked really nice on my skin and it held up super well throughout the day. My blush and my bronzer is still intact. Just right now it's starting to like settle into some places and I'm starting to get oily and it feels a little bit tacky on my skin now. So I definitely don't think that this foundation would last 24 hours, but I think you could get a solid 12-hour wear out of it before it really started to look kind of crappy. It held up pretty nice. It's just getting to the part of the night where you just want to take everything off your face because you're just sick and tired of it. But it held up pretty nice. It rubbed off a little bit on the tip of my nose, but all my foundation pretty much does. But it held up okay around the lips, and like I said, my blush and everything is still intact. So I'm gonna go and give a solid 2 thumbs up to this foundation. I really think that it is worth your money, especially if you're oily. Like, I'm not super oily right now. It is still pretty much controlled. I think that you would see pretty good results from this. If you're dry skin, it may cling to certain areas, but I mean, you can always go ahead and give it a go. So yeah, I give this 2 thumbs up. I will definitely keep reusing this, and I'm going to tell people about it and get them to try it too because I was in love with it. I thought that the coverage was really nice and it looked really good. So thank you guys for watching. This was my first ever first impression that I went throughout the day doing things, and if you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up and let me know if you want to see some more. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, share this video with your friends, and like me on Instagram and Facebook. It helps me out a lot. So thank you again so much for watching this video, and I will see you later. Bye.